to introduce you now to Alexander Nartovich, Principal Pre-Sales Architect. Alexander?
Hello, Janda. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar where I'm going to present and cover Amplify Engage, the platform that allows you to discover and control your APIs. And this webinar will primarily consist of the demonstration of the product itself. But before, I would like to set a stage and cover a few key items. First of all, I would like to cover the platform's architecture. So the platform consists of two major parts: Amplify Management Plane, which is a SaaS option, and a number of data planes that are connected to the management plane. And some of those federated data planes come from the X-Way, and those are like our own API management platform, as well as integration platform called Fusion, and the number of third-party tooling and products like other API gateways, code repository, and other resources and solutions. And all of them are connected to a single platform to create a federated or unified view of all your APIs and resources in a single place that allows you to control your APIs and govern them and offer for your consumers in a nice and controllable fashion. So this webinar, we are going to cover primarily the SaaS option, which is a management plane, but other parts of the platform can be covered in other webinars. So how do we go about the platform and how I'm going to demonstrate the platform to you? There are two major roles that are interacting with the platform: consumer, which may be a persona like app developer or application owner that are interested to discover your APIs and use them in their applications. And then there's a provider role, you as who owns and publishes APIs for consumption. And there are a number of personas that fit into the provider role. And usually one person plays one or more kind of roles from the provider side. So I will demonstrate both parts of the product in this webinar. So let's start with the consumer role first to see what are the target environment that you're going to deliver to your consumers. And then once you have that picture in the head, you can easily map the provider capabilities into what you see as the final product of the Amplify Engage. So what are the usual challenges for you as a consumer, a developer, when you need to deal with APIs? First of all, you as a developer usually are fast-pacing and you want to have an access to third-party APIs and have full control. So you are looking for self-service, clear documentation, easy credential management, so you don't need to wait for approvals. But often those portals that exist today lack good documentation and clear visibility into your API consumption once you start using third-party APIs in your production application. So all of that are challenges for me as a consumer. So let's see how Amplify Engage allows you to handle those challenges and deliver attractive and efficient platform to your consumers. So I'm going to do an action now. I'm switching to my web browser. And this is an example of a developer portal that I created for this demonstration. We call it within Amplify Engage, this is a marketplace for your APIs. As you can see, it's a pretty clean and a nice display of your target developer portal with some controls at the top where you can dive into a specific product or look at the APIs that fit into specific categories, or as provider indicated in this specific marketplace, probably those are the featured categories that are most used by application developers connected to this marketplace. And if I click on any of those categories, I will see the products, API product that fit into this category. Or I can look at the products kind of in the list down below. Provider may also include some kind of campaign or marketing message that targets a specific consumer group with this banner and the action buttons that any consumer of this marketplace can follow. Or as a developer, I may use a search capability of this marketplace and start typing a specific term that I am looking for. And Amplify Engage is smart enough to look for that specific search term in the product names, categories, documentations that are part of this marketplace. So you have a very good search capabilities to find what you need. Let's say you are looking for some kind of artificial intelligence type of APIs, and you see one that has a short description which fits your goal. If you click on that product, you see a clear and nice laid out display of this API product with short description, some information on the side that allows you to see maybe a ratings, like how good this API is, some support information in case you run into issues, and the history of this product. As a developer, my first probably inclination would be to go and check documentation on that API. And I can read introduction, and as you can see, this a rich document with graphics and links to understand what this API product offers to me as a developer, as well as I may go into other articles and probably look at the more technical information for the APIs, which basically what I need as a developer, with some endpoints, request response bodies, some examples. So that looks good. I may even look at the reviews of this API product by other users. And then what would be the next thing I would like to do? I definitely want to test it and see how it works, what it kind of does for me as an application developer. I may look at the plans, so what this product offers. And in this example, I have two plans, one which I named a developer, so like a free plan with relatively low usage of 10,000 API calls a month. And I can subscribe to this plan, or I can look once I like this API and I think this is something I'm going to use in my application, I may go to a more production level type of subscription. And in my case, I put an example of paid plan, but nobody stops you to publish just a few different type of plans for different consumer groups. And once I have that subscription, I may go and review the APIs that are part of this API product. And those are single APIs that are combined into a single product, and they all are related to each other. And that's why they are grouped together and offered for consumption. And if I click on any of those APIs, I have a clear Open API specification display with a layout that are familiar to any API developer. And definitely, I would like to try it out. And since it's a protected APIs, I need to probably handle some kind of like a credential that allows me to execute that API. And for this demo, since we have a very limited time, I already pre-created credentials. But if you are kind of need to do that, you have a way to request a new credential. You type name. This is for that specific API. You specify the owner team. You specify what type of credentials you want to do. And you specify other relevant information for requesting credential. As you can see, this is an API protected with OAuth 2. That's why you see a choice of client ID and secret. And since I already have an active credentials requested and returned back to me, I can go ahead and test that API. And when I click on the authorize button, I have sort of like a wizard that leads me to select a proper credential type. So since I requested my credentials through this marketplace, I select marketplace, I select the type of credential, and specify an application and the credential. And as you can see, The client ID and secrets are pre-filled in this display. What I need to do, I just need to select the scopes that are required for that API and authorize that API. So now I got what I need to test that API, and I can use a try it out button. I have a sample body already pre-filled in this API. So if I click execute, it will flow to my backend and come back with the 200 and the response body. So as a developer, I had a very easy way to navigate through this product, request credentials, and test my APIs. I can even look at the consumption of the APIs within my marketplace, because Amplify Engage allows you to have a view of the consumption of your APIs as a consumer. And as you can see, this dashboard allows you to see what your consumption was for the last, in my case, it's 6 hours. And you can see what APIs have been executed, how many transactions, and some of the metrics related to those APIs. I can even have a look at the sample APIs execution in my marketplace and see some of the statistics or metrics about executing a specific transaction. So for me, as a consumer, what I can reflect on what I demonstrated to you. The demonstrated marketplace has all the features that any developer would wish to have. You have full self-service capabilities of understanding, finding, discovering the APIs that are published to this marketplace. You have capabilities to subscribe and handle your credentials. You have a clean and modern UI, and even you have a way to view your consumption right from within the same portal. So all in all, you have all capabilities that address the challenges that I kind of presented before I dive into this section of my demonstration. So for me as a developer, that's a very good way to communicate with this developer portal and do everything what I need. And once I'm satisfied with the result of my initial testing, as I indicated earlier, I can subscribe to a production level subscription and have credential and use them for my application and basically build my application based on the APIs that are exposed by you in this marketplace. So all in all, a very nice experience. Now, let's turn heads and look at the provider role. Provider has a different type of challenges, which are usually start with API sprawl. Any organization, even a small organization, have probably a few environments, different teams building APIs and publishing them. Over time, this number of environments and number of APIs grow, and you lose control of what APIs you have, where they deployed, if they follow a company's accepted security rules and regulations. How do you control user access? And how you turn just a bare-bone open API spec into a product, which really what you can quote sell to your developers with nice documentation and all of those self-service capabilities. And also you have no clear global visibility across all of your environments into how your API program are doing over time. And finally, since you are publishing your APIs probably not to a single catalog, but probably to a different consumer groups like partners, customers, internal developers, you want to have a customized portals for every of those consumer groups. And it's not easy. It's not easy to customize. It requires usually a lot of effort to build nicely looking and functional portals. So all of those are challenges. Let's see how Amplify Engage allows you to build it and address those challenges. And as we say within X-Way, We brought it all together, visibility, control, and business impact in one place, which is Engage. Now go back to actions, and now I'm looking at the provider view of the platform. So this is a home screen which allows you to immediately go to one of the key parts of the platform. And I will start my demonstration as a provider from the environments. This is a view that allows me to see all of the gateways, repositories that are connected to my organization. So as you can see, I have about 34 connected at the moment. But what you can see, even based by the naming, those are the gateways from different vendors, AWS, Azure, Apigee, GitHub repository, and finally this Maverick Sprott is X-Way API management. So all of them are connected to my Amplify organization. And even from this display, I can see the status, if this is a connected or disconnected environment, how many services are discovered, and what was the last time it was communicated. So if I look at any of those environments, let's say this is my X-Way API management, I see that I have 171 service on this environment. And the way how Amplify have a live information from each gateway is through a lightweight agents that are dedicated to discovery agent to discover all of your APIs and handle credentials. So when I was demonstrating consumer, when I requested credentials, they would go through the discovery agent and new credentials will be requested on the gateway and returned back to me as a consumer. And traceability agent that allows me to feed all the metrics and sample transactions back to the platform to have a full visibility of my APIs. And down below, I have a list of my APIs with number of versions that have been created over time. And what's kind of very nice for any API kind of professional is a way to see the quality of my API based on the security and design linting rules. So Amplify Engage has a built-in linting engine that allows you to immediately grade your APIs using a school grading system from A to F. And as you can see, this is a kind of a nice or better quality API versus this one. And as an API program manager, I may try to go after those APIs with a low quality, and I may even to prevent them to be published to the marketplace or developer portal if they fall below quality grade that my company uses. What else can I do? Well, I can look at the entire catalog of my APIs. This is a service registry where APIs discovered from all environments that are connected to my Amplify Engage are reported into a single catalog. And on the side, I have a number of filters how I can view those APIs, either by the type of APIs that are reported or by the stage where they deployed or a specific environment. Or I can use just a simple kind of search criteria. And this search is doing not only the naming search, but also going into tags and description, finding all relevant information and presenting the list of a subset of APIs that falls under your search criteria. So cool. So as an API professional, I have a full view of all of my APIs, and I can see what APIs are delivered by which team, if I have any kind of similar capabilities that are built by different teams, so I can try to address duplication of work across my company. I have even a capability to handle my unmanaged APIs in the different environments through internal tooling and integration that we have in the platform. All right, so that's cool. I have all the APIs, but how do I govern and curate them once they are published or discovered from different gateways? Let me show you that, and I will go back to environments. and I'll use one of the kind of demo environments that I created. Let's assume that I am a provider and I'm building a new API, and my internal application developers say, hey, I'm ready to start building an application that is built on those APIs, but I need to have a sample server or gateway where I can access those APIs to build my application. So what you can do, you can create a manual environment and upload the specification. And then what you can do is you can build a mock endpoint. And I already pre-created a mock endpoint. So the platform has mock capabilities to build the kind of mock server for any endpoints. So now that endpoint is functional and I can release it to my internal team. And what I can do to take a quick shortcut of publishing my API to the consumer portal is by using a wizard, which is like publish in marketplace. It's a simplified way of delivering your APIs as a product. Of course, there are shortcuts in order to do that. So what you can do in this wizard, you can specify or change, for example, naming convention. You specify who owns that team, that product. The included plan will be a free plan. And then you specify to which Amplify marketplace you want to publish. And I'm going to use this U4U, which I was doing in the previous demonstration. And then I specify, is it visible to everyone or a specific team? And once I'm satisfied with that, I click publish, and it takes a few seconds for the system to build all required objects and publish it to marketplace. So if I go back to my marketplace and refresh the view, I should see my inventory API is published. Of course, it lacks some documentation, but it has a free plan. It has a single resource, and it's stage mocked. So I can basically immediately try it out. And let me see which one. Yeah, I think I don't remember which option. Yeah. So basically, you can try it out right away, and you present the functional API to your developers, and they can start building this application based on the API that you are still developing. Cool. So what else can I do? Well, this API and this product looks fine, but I would like maybe to enhance it a bit. So I go to product inventory, and I am presented with the object that was created by the wizard. And what I can do, I can create a new version of that API and add, let's say, some documentation that are going to be usable or useful for my application developers. And I can create it from a blank document, which means I will have an editor where I type everything. Or if I have already some kind of documentation that will be helpful for describing how to use the API, I can upload it to my portal and use it as a kind of template. So I use a predefined template, which is published by my company, and I can add like an article either by typing it right here in the wizard, or if I have already a document in my documentation library, which is part of the Amplify Engage, I can select that document and I can view what that document is. And if I'm satisfied, I can kind of say draft and exit. And once I'm done editing documentation, I can activate this version as a small patch. And once that's published, I can go back and refresh my view, and I should have a new documentation visible in this inventory API. Okay, I'll probably need to refresh it. Oh, I'm still using the old version. Okay, I need to switch to a new version. And right here, I have a new documents right here available. And I'm good to go. In the same way, I can add new plans, but due to time constraints, I will skip that. So I can also create a new plan that will fit my designated consumer groups. The last part which I would like to show is for business leaders and API owners and API product owners. Similar dashboard for viewing the consumption of your APIs, but this time it's not for a single environment, not for a single consumer, but for your entire organization, for all gateways that are connected to Amplify Engage. And in the same way, you see the consumption level. You can even compare it with the previous time period. In my case, it's previous 6 hours, and see how dynamics of API is changing. As a business leader, I definitely want to look at the leaderboard, which allows me to have my definite winners with fastest and most used APIs, and my losers, slowest and least used APIs. And from this, I can immediately see who are the kind of my best APIs and what are the worst APIs and where I need to put my attention. I can also, as the API owner or a digital officer, digital initiatives officer, I can look at the subscription view, which allows me to understand how each consumer or consumer group is using my set of APIs, because each subscription is dedicated to a specific consumer, like your partner or customer, and you can view how that consumer is using your APIs and compare how it is fit into your expectation, how that specific consumer using a specific API or a specific product that you publish on the marketplace. So you have a great visibility into all of your API, and this is truly a 360 view of your API program. So coming back to the slides, so what I can reflect on the provider role, I have a great federated catalog of all APIs that exist in my environment, no matter where they live. And I have a way to curate and manage those APIs, including visual components like documentation and access control for those APIs. And I can also publish the same API or API product to different marketplaces. So I can easily control, for example, let me go back to a product catalog and show you, if I have this inventory, right now it's published to a single marketplace, but I can publish it easily to another marketplace from this list, and it immediately becomes visible into that marketplace. So this is how easy it is. And finally, you have full monitoring capabilities for your APIs. So it's really useful for having a macro view of all your API program, especially nice for your business leaders. And all in all, Amplify Engage helps you to tackle API sprawl heads-on with smart federation and cataloging, with nice-looking developer portal, which we call marketplaces, that allows developers to have full self-service capabilities and everything they need to successfully discover, understand, and use your APIs. And for your business leaders, you have a global health view in the Amplify Engage that gives you an informed decision or help you to make informed decision for how your API program is developing. And finally, Xway is a great company. It's independent software vendor. And we have not only API management, but we have also file transfer solution, B2B, and integration platform, all mature and well used. And we have also an Xway Catalyst team that may help you to define or update your API strategy. Janda, back to you.
Thank you, Alexander. Well, that is all the time we have for today. We will follow up with any questions that came in after today. Thank you so much, Alexander, and to all of the attendees for joining. The on-demand link for today's presentation will be emailed to you all in the next 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you.